So when we talk about cursors, so we have already seen the declare statement which we have used in the code. So declare was used for declaring up the variables and also like to declare the cursor and also to declare the handler for the cursor. So these are few areas which for which declare is used. Then we open up the cursor. So these are the commands. Like we need to learn them. So then we open up the cursor. We say open and the cursor name. Then we fetch the value. So cursors are of basically two kinds. Like uh, they can be like row wise or like they can jump to a specific row directly. So like jumping to a specific row directly is not a job which is done by MySQL. For that, you need to go to Microsoft SQL or Oracle. But there are some properties which you should know about cursors. So MySQL cursor is read-only, non-scrollable. So read-only means like we cannot update values using cursors. We can only read values. Non-scrollable, again like we have discussed, we cannot jump to a specific record. We have to move one by one. And asensitive, it means like it is attached to the table directly. So there can be two ways. One is asensitive, second can be insensitive. MySQL is asensitive. What is insensitive? Insensitive means like a cursor will be attached to a temporary table and the temporary table will be like taking up the values from the table. So temporary table is created automatically in insensitive cursor. But MySQL supports only asensitive. So what is the advantage of insensitive? We have a table and thus using that temporary table like we are not like hitting the same table again. Like there can be a person who is inserting values in the table from which we are reading using the cursor. So the cursor is hitting at time A and the person is also inserting value at time A. So that brings a clash. So rather we say that we are putting up values in a temporary table and then we are fetching values from that temporary table so that the clash is not made between two threads. So this is like the few properties of MySQL. And then like after knowing these properties, let us go back to the script and now to the diagram. So after fetching up values from a table, it will see that if the table has gone empty. If it has not gone empty, then no, it comes back and fetches it all again. It comes back and fetches it again, comes back and fetches it. So if it finds it empty, so it will go ahead and close it. So again, this is not done automatically. We have to give a command for close. So this was something like which we need to know before like going back to our scenario. So this was the life cycle of the cursors in MySQL. So now let us go back to our scenario in our notepad. So these three variables, then we declare a continue handler for cursors. One point I need you to see over here is like when we declare a cursor, we declare it using a select statement. So whatever is returned by this table is the value for like is the value which current email will pick, right? So when we say over here select email from employees, so we are saying that we are fetching up only the emails from employees table which we created and in which we have 10 records. Two are null out of them. So this email, 10 emails will come into this current email and then we have the continue handler. When we say that all the 10 are completed, so at last it will call finished equal to 1 and like print up this particular statement, but also like this will print even for the continue handler. So this is for this entire statement. This begin and end will be for entire. So how many times this will be executed, like we will see during the run. Then we open the cursor which we created declared above. So as per our system, you can see declare, open, fetch, and close. So we open the cursor. So we have opened the cursor and then we are setting a session variable. If you are not sure what exactly is a session variable, this is something important. You can go back to the tutorials and check what exactly is a session variable. So I made a video on the difference between variable, local variable and session variable. So we are setting the session variable to 0, which is email length, list length, which is actually 10 in our case, in our like example. So see, now we have the fetch command, and like in fetch command we are like inserting the current email address value into email address variable which we declared above. So we discussed about this. We said that whatever value will be picked by this current email cursor will be assigned to email address variable. So this is what we are doing over here. So here we are like putting up the email into email address, the current email address. Then if we say like if finished equal to 1, now just before going ahead and like discussing on the script, like let us have a small talk on if else. So guys, let us talk about the if else statement now. So as you can see up my screen, if starts with like the if command, and like what exactly if else is the branches. You can say like it creates branches in a code, and this is why it is required in mostly all the languages like in Java, Python, if else loops, exception handling, a way to read data, write data. So these are the things like which are there in almost every language. So if else is again also there in SQL, in all three SQLs. Then what is the command? Like we start with if and we end with if else, end if. So this is a simple statement which says like if condition is met, this is the condition, then do this. Else, we can mention over here else. I think we need to say begin and end. So this is working fine, no error. So this is the if else ladder. So if finished equal to 1, then this set of statements will be executed. So we can have another statement over here. If not, then this section will be executed. So here we can have our own different statements. Say statement 1, then we say statement 2. So this is a simple if else to like, and like we can have if else ladders. We can create if within if. So you can see over here like I have created an if within if. So it started from here. So this is the else begin, and this all is contained within it. Let me indentate it. So you can see that this is inside this else. So we can have if statement. This is called as nested ifs. So we can have it over here. We can have it over here anywhere we want. Then we have if else ladder. So what is if else ladder is, I will just go ahead and like delete it for now. So we will say if else ladder else if. Here we will say condition again, like let me say finished equal to 0. Then our statements 1. Then we will have a statement 2. Then we can again have a in ladder we can have various ladders, right? Ladder is what? CD. You can say finished equal to, say we are checking the value for 2. Then you can say statement 1, and then again move to the next line and say statement 2. So this is if else ladder. If not this, then go in this. If not this, then go in this. If not this, then like go outside. So it will not go in this section until this is filled. If this condition is satisfied, only this will be executed, then rest of these will not be executed, because this is an if else ladder. If this is successful, execute this, or else go to this. So now we will talk about loops. In MySQL, loops are of three kinds. So we have while loop, we have repeat loop, and then we have a loop and leave statement. So we can like use a combination of loop and leave statement. So anyhow, all these three are the same. There are very little difference between them. We will discuss about it. So as of now, we will pick up the loop and leave statement, and let's go back to our notepad. So in this notepad now, if you see line number 29, see line number 29. This is where that the loop gets started, and it gets completed at line number 52. So I have like just you can see over here that rather than a single minus sign, we have a plus sign, so I can extend it. So this loop goes from line 29 till 52, and between this, whatever we have between line 52 and 29, so I've selected it. Between it, whatever we have are the statements of this loop. And what exactly is a loop? Loop is something in coding which gets repeated again and again. So all these statement will get repeated. So what will happen? Statement at number 30 will execute, then this if statement will execute, then this statement will execute, then statement 50 will execute, then it will come to the 52, then it will go back again above, and it will start executing 30, then again this will be executed, then the next line 46 will be executed, then it as like this way it will reach 52, and then it will go back again. So sequentially it will loop like this is what it is. It will like keep on repeating the statements inside it again and again until finished equal to 1, and it says leave get email. Get email is the label. This is the label of the loop, or label can be also termed as the name. So this loop has a name which is get email. So this is saying that leave get email if finished equal to 1. Finished equal to 1, it means that all the statements, like all the rows which we are reading up from the table are finished, and like that's why we have set up finished equal to 1 here. Here what we are saying, when define continue handler for not found, begin this for not found. If it is not found, then it will like execute the statements, these two statements, and it will set finished equal to 1, right? So it will leave when it will like read all the records, right? Then if we come in the loop over here, so you see over here that in this loop the next statement is email list. So what it is doing, it is concatenating email address and email list. Email is list initially was blank. So we are actually giving this loop in a stored procedure, which is this. We are giving this loop in this stored procedure, and when we will call this stored procedure, we are giving a variable called as email list. So when we will call it, we will have this variable email list, and this variable is actually being used over here. This one. So this is this statement inside the loop. And the last statement inside the loop, let me show you the loop again, complete loop. So it is still here and it opens from here, right? So let me maximize it now. So and the last statement before the end, we have email list length equal to email list length plus 1. This is nothing but a counter. So initially this email list length value is 0. If you check over here in line number 26, this value is set to 0. So initial, this is just a variable which is being used. We are setting it to 0 before entering in the loop. We are entering in the loop in line number 29, and then the first value is read, and this particular email list length is equal to 1 now, right? And this email list, we have used a concatenation, the first email address. Suppose the first email address was Goel. So this is the right thing, the goel@gmail.com. So Goel, it will concatenate goel@gmail.com and a semicolon, and then email list. Email list is currently blank. So now email list after first loop, email list will be this, right? Then it will go back again above and read the second row. What is the second row? If we see our data, first row was goel at the rate like gm star star l.com. Then second is bansal at the rate gm star star.com. So when it will read the second row, the email list will already be this, and now it says this concatenate email address. The second email address is, current email address will be bansal at the rate gm star star l.com. So this is what it is going to pick up, right? Then it will go to the next row. Similarly, it will pick up all the 10 rows, and like it will keep on adding this side until all the 10 rows are finished. It will like keep on running inside a loop. And when we say that this is a loop, until like whenever it reaches the last point, then finished will be set to 1, and it will leave the Gmail. Get email is the name of the loop. So it will leave the loop and like come out. Then at last, you remember that we are just closing up the cursor. We discussed about it, like we need to close up this cursor, and at last we are closing up the cursor, and then again like we are changing the delimiter to this. So this is like the end of the procedure, and like this is how the loops are used. Like before going ahead and running up this script and then like debugging it, let us like see two more different kind of loops. One is the while loop. So as we have applied this particular loop, in the similar way we have the while loop. So in that loop we were like defining the condition. In this loop we were defining the condition in the continue handler, and if not found, like this loop would have been like executed until it reaches the end of the like rows of a table. But say you have to like just see the first 5 rows. So here in while loop you can give a condition. So you can see from line 42 to 47. So this is what like while loop is. You can give a condition after while loop. So here we are not like we can even give the label over here as such like this. So this is the label, like as we were using the loop statement before. Previously we were having this statement, and inside this we have to use like the leave statement to leave the loop. But now we are using the while, and like at very end of while we use end while. This is the syntax, and here we give the condition. So this loop will run until counter is less than equal to day, and these all statements will run or execute with this loop every time, right? So this is while loop. So again, like at the end we have repeat loop. So in Java we have while loop and do while loop. So this is exactly the difference between while loop over here and the repeat loop. In repeat loop, at first we like say repeat all this, and then we define the uh, condition. So here we say repeat these two statements, and then we say the condition. So in while loop there can be a case when the following statements will not get executed even once. Say if we give a condition 0 is greater than 1, so this is always false. So this loop will never get run, right? So this loop will always say that this is false. But over here if we say until 0 is greater than 1, so at first these two statements are executed, then the condition is checked. So it will like run at least for one time, and while loop will not run even for once. So this is the basic difference. And like anyhow, if you want to read all the rows of the table, then the loop and leave statement is the correct. So now let us come back and see our loop in the script. So you can see that the loop starts from line 29 and it ends at line 52. And then after this loop, let me like go ahead and like put them together by clicking on the minus sign over here, and like it has all the code. You can see over here like this is from line 29 and then 53 comes. So all of the code is hidden. So and at last we have in the script is the close cursor. So as per the diagram which we discussed, now we are closing up the cursor at the end, and then this stored procedure is like finished. So this is the definition of this stored procedure, which has the declare statement, then it has the continue handler, and then this again is the declare statement. Then this opens the cursor, sets the initial values, then there is a loop. So the code for the loop is hidden. Then there is a loop, and at the end we close the cursor, and then the procedure ends. So in the next chapter, we will be going ahead and like at first we will execute this stored procedure. So like let us not understand what exactly is there in the loop as of now. Let's go ahead and execute the stored procedure.